Hi.
Hi, hold on. I got to take a thing down. There we are.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
How's it going?
Happy Thursday. How is it Thursday already?
How is it
What happened to
Thursday
this
since
week?
I feel like we just had a show.
Right? We're getting people popping in. So everybody's saying there's Sandy and
Hi,
Zach,
guys.
Marie.
You have to put Bean in the logo.
I know. Like the timing, it's epic. You know what I mean? Like he just... I can't even fight it anymore. It's just what is. You know, I mean, we promise Trainwreck. That's what we deliver every week.
Hello, my Chris Allgood. My mom's friend, Chris Allgood. Did I tell you guys about
Sandy?
that? I mean, I know it, Erin, I know you know, but for everybody watching, for whatever reason, my mom, every time Chris comments on something or Chris posts something, my mom gets a notification that says your friend Chris Allgood commented or your friend Chris Allgood posted or whatever. It never says that about on mine. It just says Chris Allgood made a post. Chris Allgood left a comment. Chris Allgood reacted. But with my mom, it's always your friend Chris Allgood. So now into my family, he is just my mom's friend, Chris Allgood. So it's just one of those. Every time she's like, hey, is that my friend Chris Allgood?
I love
it. So anyway, hello.
Yeah, and I apologize in advance. Bernie, Jesus Christ, it's going to be a long show, y'all, if this keeps up. I apologize in advance. I even got headphones in, and I'm sure it's still obnoxious. So here we go.
Hey,
I'm excited about today.
What happened?
I'm excited. It's going to be a good conversation.
Hey, this is going to be a really good show, you guys. Quick question for everybody. Did you guys do one thing every day that made you feel fucking fabulous in the last 2 weeks? Did we do that? What did we do?
I did.
Sounds like fighting.
Yeah, tell us what you did in the comments. We want to hear that.
Yeah, we definitely want to hear that. So tell us what you did that made you feel like freaking fabulous.
Mini
it kind of does. Isn't he sweet? He's so sweet.
I'm
He's
really
so happy
sorry.
up there.
I don't have anywhere to put him. He's been perfectly asleep on the bed until we go live.
Of course. That's just the way it's got to be.
At least he's a consistent pain in the ass.
Yes. So we have a very, very good show for you guys tonight. Super excited about it. Erin, since this was your idea, why don't you let everybody know what we are going to be chatting about this evening?
Well, we figure, for one, tonight's a full moon. So I will be, after we're done here, doing a burn ceremony, which I'll get into a little bit later on those.
A burn ceremony or a Bernie ceremony?
Burning ceremony. We're going to light shit on fire.
Oh, yeah. Don't
Not Bernie, burning.
Don't light Bean on fire.
And so we're not going to light Bean on fire. No. There are plenty of other things that could get Bean up here in Maine, including coyotes and God knows what else. But we figured this is a good time to talk about manifesting.
Hi, Mama. Your friend Chris Allgood is here.
Hi, Miss Nancy. Chris, that's good advice. Set your water out, peeps, which we'll get into that.
Yes.
For moon water.
Yes.
But manifesting and also talking about how thoughts are actually things. And that's something I learned from Andrea. And my life over the last 2 months has been a very solid exercise and how that is in fact true.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So I think it's something that, again, kind of like meditating can scare people because they think there has to be like a specific way. Here goes Tom. He meditated every day. Marie has been gathering for a burn. So I'm guessing she's done those with me before. So I'm assuming she's doing one tonight. But just the importance of, what's going on up here.
Yes.
Literally manifest in your reality in one form or another. So I think for us to have a discussion about the importance of that, I mean, I know you do quite a bit of manifesting yourself. And I think what I want to talk about too is like accidental manifesting a little bit as well, because I think, let's just start this off with a bang. So I remember the first time I went to Rhode Island. I hadn't been to New England since I was a kid. And I remember getting out of the car, and it was, it was summertime, so it was warm, but I just remember I just fell in love with New England like instantly. And the more I went back, I just, I can't.
You did, yeah, from day one.
New England, I want to. Yeah, and I, after spending 3 weeks up at the farm last summer, the former owner or the owner was like, "Oh, we, love for you to move up here." I'm like, "I'd love to move here too," but my husband, it's probably going to be at the cost of my marriage. If that were to ever happen, that means something has gone wrong. And then Cody threatened to chain me to the camper, so I couldn't leave. And then, as luck would have it, Justin and I decided to kind of go our separate ways. We're still very close. Our lives have just gone two completely different directions.
Right.
He knew I wanted to be up here. And so when we decided that this is the way we were going, the first thing I told him, I said, well, that I'm moving to New England. And unfortunately, and I can say it here because it's not like I'm blasting it on Facebook, the Heinzens have been nice enough to let me live in this space that they've got. This is a carriage house that's next to their house. It's the upstairs of their garage. And it's, as you can tell, they've just finished redoing
gorgeous.
It. It's like living in a ski chalet every day. My view out these windows is mountains. Like, I'm like, how is this my life? But my point in saying that is, I used to jokingly say, if and when my marriage ends, I'm going to go live my best witchy life in the woods with my crazy dog in New England.
Doing burn ceremonies on a full moon.
Right. And here we are. So it's, it's one of those things where it's like, I think for some of us are super manifestors, and those of us who kind of fall under that category have to start thinking more about the things that we're saying, even if we're joking. Like, because obviously I didn't want to, leave my marriage, but that was kind of where we were headed anyway. But it's all played out the way that I kind of dreamer Erin kind of wanted. Like, I never thought I'd actually get a chance to live in New England. I never thought I'd get a chance to be close to the people that, are such a huge part of my life now. And to have such an incredible support system. And so, while the marriage is over, I'm getting to be in a new spot where this is everything I hoped it would be. I mean, hell, this morning, Corey was out there with a chainsaw, and Jen and I are, in gloves and boots and leggings, loading up, truckload of sticks. And I was happier than a pig in shit. I'm like, this is what I wanted. It's quiet. It's peaceful. It's, you know what I mean? It's all the things I didn't really know that I needed until this decision for us was made.
Yeah.
But I think for me, the lesson was that I have to be very careful about what comes out of my mouth, because it ends up happening. Marie used to live in Maine, so she loves Maine. But that's kind of where I started with it. Burn ceremonies, and we're going to talk about all that. Cody and Satori.
We've got
love y'all too.
Hi guys. We do, and there's a lot to it, and so we're going to be talking about manifesting. We're going to be talking about lucky girl syndrome. We're going to be talking about how and teaching you exactly how to manifest the things that you want, and how you might inadvertently be manifesting the things you don't want. Yes, Chris, this is about as far east and into the cold as my mother was willing to go in North Carolina, with about 4 to 6 inches of snow a year. So far, we've only gotten a total of maybe 4 in the 3 years we've been here. So this is right up her snow alley, but no further north. No further north.
We had frost this morning.
We are under a frost advisory for tonight, which I was kind of surprised about.
I heard it's cold in the south.
Yeah. So we're hoping for snow for Coy, but otherwise, so we're going to break it all down, because we're also going to talk to you guys about the metaphysical part of manifesting the things that you want, the life that you want, but we're also going to talk about the science behind it as well. So, by the end of class tonight, we're going to send you on your way. And for the next,
we're like Andrea, class is in session.
And for the next 2 weeks, we want to hear about, how it's working for you. And if these are things that, you've either tried and it didn't work, or you swear by these things, that kind of stuff. And as always, of course, pop into the chat, as we go along and we're talking tonight, like pop into the chat, like what are some of your ideas and your best pieces of advice for everybody else here that maybe has never done this before.
Love it.
So there's a lot. Where should we start? Because I mean, then I was talking to Zach about it today, and he was like, "Oh, and you can get into crystal grids and this and that." And I was like, "Whoa, slow her down. I don't know anything about any of that kind of stuff."
That's one thing I don't do. I don't know anything about crystal grids either.
I don't either.
You would think I would, as much as I work with crystals. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I got nothing there.
I don't. Yeah,
but very interesting. But it is. I think it will be interesting to learn what other people do.
For sure. So where do we want to start? I don't know. There's so much. Let's start with show of hands. Who has ever heard of the lucky girl syndrome? Who has ever heard? Who's heard of that? That was something that I think I'd heard off and on over the years. Just sort of like, you know, one of those things where we all know those people where everything just goes right for them, right? You know, right. One of my favorite stand-up comedians is Billy Gardell, and he does he did a stand-up in Pittsburgh because he's from Pittsburgh, and he did a stand-up Comedy Central special from Pittsburgh, and he was like, you know, those guys that everything just goes really great for, like, you know, hit every green light on the way to work and stopped and got a scratch ticket and won $500,000 on the scratch ticket and even early going golfing with the boss, and you know, just everything just goes right for some people, and it can be really annoying. And the question of that is, why are these people so lucky? Is it that they're lucky? Is it that they just, you know, they just know the right people, or they say and do the right things, and they're just kind of like in those positions to have amazing things happen to them all the time? Is that what it is? Are they doing it for themselves? I think certainly, as far as like, if somebody gets the job you want, maybe, you know, maybe they were just a little bit more qualified for it than you were. Maybe it wasn't your time to get that position in that moment. So I think there's certain areas where certainly effort is key to getting the things that you want and building the life that you want. Yeah. Like, I wasn't lucky when I got this house. I worked my ass off for this house. We were living in a 2-bedroom former crack house in Phoenix that we hated. And my credit score was 480. But it was during the height where the refi boom was going really well. I was making a lot of money. I was able to pay my debts down, and I was able to bring my score up from 480 to 640 in 9 months. Yeah. And qualify for this house. It's a new build house, and I moved my family across the country. So there's no discounting effort and hard work to get the things that you want. But
100% agree.
There's lucky girl syndrome can very much often be attributed to the way that you're looking at perspective. Yes, perspective, the way you're looking at your life, the way you're looking at your circumstances. And I'll tell you what, I have been on both sides of that spectrum. Yeah, both sides of that spectrum. And you know that, Erin, as well as I do, because there was a time shortly after I lost that amazing job that got me this house and moved my family across the country. And I lost $140,000 a year income, as did my son 2 months later. That kind of put me into a really deep spiral, you know, of depression and door dashing and being a UPS seasonal delivery driver and having to do things that were barely making ends meet. And I kind of got into this mindset of, you know, things are hard. They're always hard. They're getting harder. Everything sucks. Life sucks. And that is just how it is. Until finally I had asked you, I was like, I need help. And we called in Michelle Roos. And I was like, do I have an attachment? Like, it got that bad, you guys, where I was like, do I have an attachment? Did I pick something up? Because I'd still been like going and investigating. I think St. Albans was the place where I was like, did something follow me from that place? Is that why my life is crap? And Michelle took a look and she was like, she's getting into a spiral.
You're just in it.
Yeah. I'm just in it. And I kept thinking, this is bad, this is hard, this is terrible. And so because I was doing that, things were getting worse and being terrible and getting harder. I was manifesting that reality. So I don't know if
Thoughts
anything like that, thoughts or things. And I don't know, you guys in the chat, I don't know if that is something that you guys have experienced in your life.
Yeah.
Or over when things get really difficult. It's hard, especially when you're like on the verge of losing your home, or you losing, maybe you're like at a point where you're like, I can't afford this house, I might have to sell it. Like that, these things get really, really difficult. And yes, Jonathan, we create our own reality. You're right. Yeah, I think that
we do. I mean,
what? Did you say something?
No, I don't know. I probably, and I forgot. My brain.
Also, we don't know what the hell we're doing tonight, so good luck with all of this. No.
What's new?
So,
I mean, I agree with you 100%. It's I mean, I even look at, and I'm using my current situation just because that's what my life is currently now.
Sure.
So like,
yeah,
we make this decision. I've been subtly, accidentally manifesting a move to New England. And then when we finally got to the point where we decided the marriage is over, and I was like, okay, I'm going to end up in New England. I don't know where I'm going to end up. I was like, but I'm going to end up, I started actively manifesting, like, okay, I'm going to find the perfect situation. I started looking, funny enough, up carriage houses in Rhode Island, and just to see what rents would cost and, things like that. And I was like, okay, I'm going to manifest a job. Like that's kind of our focus now. And then of course, Corey and Jen are like, we have this carriage house. Like, what are the chances? Right. And just trying to be much more mindful of the thoughts in my head, because of course I could go, this ties into your perspective, I think, in the spiral you're talking about. By all intents and purposes, I could be in a really nasty spiral right now.
You really could. Yeah.
Justin and I are we've been together 15 years.
Yeah. That's a huge life change. Everything that you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, okay, I could choose to be, and there's nothing to be angry about. There's no bad guy in this situation, right? Between the two of us, but I could still be mad about it, right? I could be angry that I have to, that we're splitting up, that I'm going to end up moving out of the condo that I love at the beach. And, but then it was like, okay, this is the situation we're in.
Yeah.
I have his support. I support his decisions. I am going to now go live this life that I have been, oddly enough, building for myself over the last 3 years. And that's no accident either. I think that's all manifesting as well.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, okay, if I just trust the universe has yet to lead me wrong.
Yeah.
I'm just diving into the deep end. And I don't know. I know for a lot of people, it's like control is an issue in situations like, oh God, what's next? What's next? I just decided, fuck it. I don't care what's next. The right thing will end up right in my face. And it does every single time, but it's knowing it. It's like knowing that there's something bigger is working for you, whether you believe in God or the universe or whatever it is for you. It doesn't matter.
Right.
If you decide to finally just like sign over your life to some degree to allowing chance to take over and kick in and just trusting that, I also think your manifesting increases. And in manifesting, I think like you and I have talked about before, you can manifest shit like a front row parking spot. You can manifest anything you want to.
Yeah.
Yep. Just ask the universe, right? Because again, with manifesting, it's still an energy exchange, right? You're putting out hopefully what you want back. But if you're not aware of what you're putting out, you have to be careful of what you get back, because then you have to start having that conversation with your own brain. Like, okay, am I stuck in a spiral? I for sure have been down that spiral.
Mm-hmm.
Where was that one? I lost that one. Talking about the spiral.
Yeah, it took me a while to learn when I get like that to take a moment and reevaluate the situation. Yeah.
You have to step out of it. Yeah, because the next thing you know, it's like, oh, well, everybody's mad at me, or everything's going wrong, or my job sucks, everybody sucks. Then everything is going to suck. Everyone is going to suck. If you consistently tell yourself and the people around you that everything's terrible, it's going to stay that way.
Yes. And there's a scientific reason for that. There's a scientific reason for that, which we actually, so on History of a Haunting on my podcast, Laura and I do our regular episodes, but then once a week, we each trade off doing like one weird short story. Yeah. And I've covered this. It's called the RAS. It's called the Reticular activating system, and it's in your brain. So if you want to, here we go. So this highlighted part, it's about 2 inches long, about the length of your pinky, in your brainstem is the reticular activating system. And what this is responsible for is filtering out, it's the part that helps your brain filter out all of the information that we get every second of every single day. So if you think about it, there is no way that the human brain could possibly retain and do something with all of the information that we are constantly getting every single minute of the day. Like for right now, Erin and I are talking. I'm trying to watch the chat. I'm listening for my dog. I'm making sure, is the air on? What am I, there's the graphic behind us is very busy. There's a lot going on all the time.
Yep.
And the human brain just can't possibly retain all of that. So the reticular activating system, or the RAS, is what filters out what we tell it is not important. So for example, if you just bought, like when I bought my car, I drive a bright orange Equinox. When I bought that car, I was like, look at my orange car. It's so cool. Nobody has an orange car like my orange car. No. All of a sudden, I started seeing orange cars everywhere. Nissans, like all of a sudden, every single car manufacturer came out with orange paint for their cars the same time I bought my orange car. So what's happening is this section of your brain gets something, man. Yes, actually. And
Yep.
Star that one.
I'm going to star that one. We'll go back to that one later. Yeah, we'll go back to that for sure.
Yeah, for sure. So what that's basically I was telling my brain, I loved my orange car so much that I was telling my brain, hey, what's important to me is orange cars. So filter out anything else. And so my brain was like, oh, okay, orange cars. Well, now you're going to see orange cars everywhere because you've told me that's what's important. So I'm going to bring that back to you all the time. And it's the same thing if like, you're like, wow, look at all the white cars, look at all the silver. That's just one tiny, tiny example. But that's what the reticular activating system, right? That's what it does. That's what it does. So the one thing that's happening with my reticular activating system right now is, I don't know if you guys watched it, but I am obsessed, and I have been since it happened, but I'm obsessed with the Lyle and Eric Menendez case. So Netflix has that new show Monsters out, and they play a lot of Milli Vanilli in this show. Because of that, it's brought Milli Vanilli back to the forefront of current public consciousness. So now, Blame It on the Rain, I have heard it so much and I'm singing it so much, I actually woke up in the middle of the night from a dream that I wasn't even thinking about like the show or anything like that. I woke up and just was like, started humming this song. Because it's like that earworm thing, right? Where it's stuck in your head. And so you're just constantly, so everywhere I go, I see it. There's a news article about it and that music is playing in the background. Girl, you know it's true. Yes. All of it. You're right. It's just, but I've told my brain, hey, I loved that song. So let's hear it all day long.
Put it everywhere. Let's just put it everywhere.
Everything. So that's what the reticular activating system does. So likewise, when you manifest things and you're in a space where, like I was in, no, you really couldn't. And so thanks to Ryan Murphy, that song once again lives rent-free in my head all the time. When it took 20 years to get it out of there the first time. Mama. Hi. So the reticular activating system is like, as long as you're telling your brain, hey, these are the things that are important to me. Then your brain is going to be like, okay, well, then we need to keep that going and we're going to filter out everything else. So it's very easy to get into a spiral like I was in and think everything sucks. I'm never going to find a job. The mortgage industry is dead. I can't go back to that. What am I going to do? I don't know anything about insurance. Everything door dashing is awful and it's wear and tear on my car and blah, 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 blah. So that like I was telling my mind, okay, we need to look for the worst case scenario all the time.
And you got it.
And I got it. And I got it. So a lot of you have said that it's very easy to slip into that and very hard to get out of.
True.
And you're right. You're absolutely right. Because the bad things are easier to believe, right?
Yeah.
The bad things are easier to believe. So it's very, life is 10% of what happens to you and 90% of what you do about it. I completely agree. And your brain is it's just following your lead. So if you say, hey, everything is hard and sucks and is terrible, then your brain is going to, you've told it that's what's important to you.
Yep, exactly.
To pay attention to.
Yep.
So what you can do, what I started to do was before I get out of bed every morning, my alarm goes off. I lay there. I'm like, okay, I got to get up. I tell myself 3 things that are positive that I want to focus on. And I do it every single morning before I even get out of bed or turn on the light.
Yep.
3 things that are positive. And that's training my brain. That's me telling my brain, hey, you know what? I want to be efficient today. I'm going to focus on the things that I need to do in the house or for the shop or whatever to get them done. I want to focus on making sure that my mom has everything that she needs for the day, that Koi has everything that he needs for the day. I want to compliment friends. You can get into a really good pattern. If you just, before you get up, the first things you think in the day, when you wake up, positive things.
Yeah.
You can, I used to do retraining your brain that these are the things.
100% agree.
Yeah.
I used to do that with clients. I would tell them, because this was something I learned, because when I was doing energy sessions, which I'm probably going to be getting back into here in a bit once things kind of settle in. But one of the things I started out doing, very similar to what you do, is I would look for 5 things in my day that made me happy. And it didn't matter how small it was. It can be, my coffee was extra delicious this morning. Bernie pooped in the first 5 minutes. I mean, it could be literally anything. Doesn't matter.
Anything. Yeah.
Small, big, doesn't matter. Yep. Gratitude makes a huge difference. Totally agree. But in a similar to you, I was looking for positive things during my day every day. So it was like 5 things. And then I also had I called it a celebrate yourself list. Cause when you're doing this kind of work, there's so many little shifts that you don't give yourself credit for until you feel like you've had a big shift. So for me, it was like, if you find yourself reacting to a situation differently, that's something to celebrate, write that shit down. But I think like you said, you have to retrain your brain. Then a quick
Bernie is manifesting his best life.
It's going to be all this shit. He is. But I think you hit the nail on the head, because if your RAS is used to being kind of in more of a negative mindset, which is so easy, especially the last few years, COVID, economy, take your pick, world, chaos, politics, whatever.
I'm going to be late to work because traffic always sucks. Look, there's a wreck. Okay, of course, on my way. Oh, construction on this street because this is the road I take, so they're going to put construction on it. Exactly. That's it's really easy to do. A lot of that stuff you can't really avoid, but if you know that traffic is always a shit show, it's probably then it's going to be even worse that day, especially when you're running late, right?
Yeah. But like you said, it is very much it just like anything else we do with this. I mean, this is why we do this show, because trying to figure this shit out is a shit show. And you have to give yourself grace that you're learning new things, right? Because you are literally retraining your brain. You're making your synapses connect differently, right? And so you're also trying to undo however many years of habit of maybe being on the negative end. It does take a while to get out of it.
It does.
You have to, and I think you hit the nail on the head earlier too. You have to put the effort in. That's the key with this. You have to work at this like a muscle, just like you would anything else. And it doesn't happen overnight, and it's not instant. But the more you work at it and the more you're changing your brain, it's like one day you kind of wake up and you're like, sun's a little brighter today. You start to see that effort playing out in your life, but you have to put in the effort.
You have to put in the effort. You can't expect things to just drop in your lap. This is not, I mean, when we were like, hey, we're going to teach you how to manifest the crap out of your life, that's not what we mean. That's not what we mean. But it does take,
good call, Mom.
Yep. It does take, yes, you have to be uncomfortable enough to change. That is kind of what our whole entire like mantra of the show needs to be.
Yeah, you got to step outside of your comfort zone, and
you have to step outside of your comfort zone. And you know what, Melissa, I'm not trying to like call you out, but you did leave a comment where you said, kind of feel like I'm in a bit of one of those spirals, just pretty much given up on trying, wasn't changing or helping, so just quit trying. Been there. Too. I don't think there is any one of us that has not, that's in this chat watching the show, that hasn't been there. I probably will be back in it at some point. Life is not always going to be sunshine and roses.
Nope.
It's just, it isn't. But here's the other part of it.
One too, Chris.
Yes. Perfection cannot be obtained by chasing perfection. Yeah. So here you can achieve excellence. So here's the thing with that. For those of you that feel like, yeah, absolutely. If I feel like crap, okay, then everything is crap.
Everything is crap. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So when we were talking about the reticular activating system in your brain, it's responsible for filtering out all of this insane amount of information that we get every single second of the day. So it's only going to hang on to the things that we've told it are important.
Right.
Now, the same thing goes on the metaphysical end of it. And I was talking to my mom about it when Laura, you're not Laura, you're Erin.
That's okay. I answered you whatever.
I mean, listen, I was talking to one of my girls, and so Erin and I, we were planning this episode, and I was telling my mom I was really excited about this topic. And I said the following, and I was like, it's so smart. I need to text it to Erin so that I don't forget how I explained it to my mom so I can say it on the show. Because it's really smart.
It is really smart. Yes.
On the metaphysical end of it, we're constantly talking about how everything is energy. We all know that one of the laws of thermodynamics is energy cannot be created nor destroyed. It can only change shape. Erin is one of the most adept, skilled, beautiful energy light workers I've ever met in my life. And so she can speak more to this, but essentially manifesting yourself in a metaphysical way is you're putting that energy, be it negative, positive, hopeful, certain, whatever that energy is, you're putting that out there into the universe. So you're essentially telling the universe's cosmic reticular activating system what's important to you energetically. So if everything sucks and everything is, I'm going to get 6 more bills before I get paid, as opposed to, oh, hey, I have a little bit of extra money and I can get this bill taken care of. Or maybe I go and I just buy ice cream for my family, like I did last night. We were like, you know what, let's just get some ice cream. And it was just a fun little treat that we were all like, this is just something small that was fun for us. But metaphysically, it's the same thing. We're constantly talking about how to use your energy, getting to know your energy, and how to make that muscle grow and get strong for you. But if you're putting out that negative energy of nothing was working, so I just quit trying, you're telling essentially
it's going to stay that way.
Cosmic RAS, reticular activating system, energetically, that's what's important to you. So that's what it's going to filter out.
Yeah, I think that's, I mean, and it's funny because when I think about it now, it's such a simple thing when you're talking about energy. Yep. Things can sometimes be huge. That's a fact.
True.
Because, but the universe really doesn't give a shit what you want. It doesn't care. It only gives you back what you are giving it. That's it. It's as simple as that. So the up and down side of that is, one, it can be really frustrating to discover that it is your own fault when you get there, myself included, been there, done that.
You do.
But then 2, you're also in control of deciding what to do with that information now that you've figured it out and you know it.
Yeah.
The only person in control of changing that energy around you is you.
You know? Like Chris said, intent.
It's everything's intent. And we talk about that a lot. Like we covered this in crystals. We covered this in grounding and protection. Everything comes back to intent.
Yeah.
You know? And but we're so used to living in a world where we're constantly giving our power away to other people that it's very difficult to understand that you're the one with all the power. You get to decide. Like I get to decide the people in my life.
Yeah.
I get to decide what I'm going to think about when I get up in the morning. I mean, listen, if you'd have told me 4 years ago that I would go from paralegal to paranormal and not just go into paranormal, but be involved now in what I would consider this amazing group of people that I call family.
Yeah.
Have had all these amazing experiences just because one, I had no expectations. I just saw, I want to be a part of this. Now, how can I get involved? Well, me getting involved was giving my time up, helping people, whether it's designing graphics or, you know, moderating a podcast or setting up a dinner. Like, how can I contribute a skill that I have to be part of something I'm passionate about? And, you know, instead of saying, oh, well, why didn't this turn out this way or that way? I get to control that destiny, right? But I think where the kicker is not having expectations at the end of it, because that is, I think, for a lot of people, myself included, the biggest downfall, our expectations of people, of situations, of ourselves, of things. Dropping that shit at the door and doing things out of the kindness of your heart, or because you love it, or because you're passionate, or you find a need where, you know, something needs to be filled. Like for, you know, like with Ken was so busy when we first met that he didn't have time to design thumbnails. And I was like, pick me. I want to do it. Cause one, I think it's fun. Two, it's a creative outlet for me. Three, it helps him.
He truly has the best time.
I do. I love it. I mean, he'll, you know, call me and be like, okay, here's the next 4 shows. I'm like, okay, see you in like 8 hours. And I will just sit, and I do the same for you. Like I do that for Michelle. I've done it. I do a lot of things behind the scenes that people aren't even aware of. But I don't do it because I'm trying to get somewhere. I'm doing it because one, it makes me happy. And then on the other hand, I get to help somebody else.
Yes.
So for me, but by not having any expectations of the time that I'm donating and the things that I'm doing, somehow I've been afforded all these different incredible opportunities. But I think that's because I don't have expectations. I just do it because I'm having fun with
that energy of service.
Service is the big one.
Just service. Let me help you out. You need help. I've got the time. I can help you. I can have the skill. Let me help you out. Now, that's not to say that that it's easy. It's not to say, and I definitely want to circle back to Melissa, because I know how hard that is. And I'm not saying that it's you know what? All you got to do, Melissa, is just say the words, change it. You can say that a million times to your brain. Hey, you know what? I want to look for a more positive outcome. Let me see the positive in this. Positive. That doesn't mean that your brain is going to be like, I know exactly what
got it.
you want. It's gonna, you've got to, again, the intention behind it. Yes, paying it forward, it comes back to you in kind. But maybe you start in small ways. Like when Michelle was like, Carrie's getting into this spiral where it's just going to keep the negativity. It's just going to keep circling back to her. So when I realized that, I remember that day I was taking a shower. We were getting ready to go somewhere, and I was standing in the shower, and I was like, okay, just please give me clarity of mind and quiet the din all around me, in my thoughts, in my worries, in my fears, in my mom's thoughts and worries and fears and coys. Quiet all of that in my mind and just let me have clarity of thought so that I can see the path. And then I can move forward down it. Just something as simple and small as that. Just, hey, you know what? Everything is too loud and scary right now. Can we just turn the volume down a little?
Yeah.
And just let me
focus for a minute. Yeah.
Focus for a minute. Yes.
Yeah.
So you could even start in those ways. And once you start those, tiny steps, then you can take the next step and the next step. And then you'll find, honey, I promise, Melissa, I promise you will find that it does work.
Just got to be consistent with it.
You've got to be consistent.
You have to make it a priority.
Have hope.
It has to be a priority.
Start there. Have hope. Have faith that somehow the light will shine through the darkness. I promise it will work as long as you truly believe it. And I know it's hard to have that belief when things seem so bleak and overwhelming, and they've felt that way for a long time. But all you need is that one little spark, and you have it in you. You just need to make it important, and then it'll grow and grow and grow. And that's how you can manifest. That's how you can manifest things. The shop is doing, my shop is doing really well. It's something that was a random Erin idea that I had talking to Erin on the phone, driving home from OSR 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago. Yeah. Infusing things with Reiki. And then I was like, you know what? I need a lotion for my lupus rash and my inflamed skin, and I'll just make it myself because I can't find anything. And then I was like, hey, Erin, can you do that with skincare? And she's like, yeah, sure can. And it just went from there. Yeah. And I worked diligently to create these recipes, create these designs, create a brand, and then open my shop. And know that I am putting out good quality product that people like, that they enjoy, that is working for them. And I'm just manifesting. And I'm like, from the minute I opened that shop, Erin, I told you one day we are going to make fuck you money. And things are just slowly starting to like come around.
Happen organically.
It's happening organically, but it's also, I've told the universe, this is what's important to me. How can I reach my clients? How can I follow up with them? How can we put out quality product that has the energy in it that is so filled with love and purpose and intent? Yeah. And you and I are doing that. And now we're getting orders every day. Like, this is what I told the universe is important to me.
Well, and I think too, you also have to think about, the tough situations you've been in. When I got out of law, I was not happy. I also think, sorry, the squeaking is back. We've gone from dragon to alligator.
He was like, I forgot I hadn't said anything for a while.
I think there are times, I know, a little bit. He wouldn't put himself in his crate for a minute. And then he's like, oh, something else to play with. But I know for me, like, especially when I was getting out of law, I could not figure out why I was so unhappy. Yeah. And I think the universe will also at times, because like Chris said, you can't be toxic, positivity is great, but there's also a line with that. You don't want to fall into the toxic side of it. So the other end of that spectrum is sometimes the universe is going to make you so uncomfortable that you have no choice other than to try something else. Because clearly you're not going to change what you're doing.
Yes, exactly.
And sometimes if you're not, the universe is basically like, all right, here we go. And then kicks you into a different,
literally will kick you into a different, yeah.
Because
good, Melissa, I'm so glad. Sorry, she used your foot soak tonight. Yay.
Yeah. And then I thought there's some really great comments in here. Let me just pull some of these up just real quick. Light always prevails over dark. It's all mindset. Totally agree. Joe Freza, Melissa, it's great to be around like-minded people, which means everyone's here is awesome. Very true.
It is. This is the best group. I'm so in love with our Facebook page, the interaction, the audience. I'm so happy.
Exactly what we hoped it would be.
Exactly.
That one little spark makes you go from feeling like victim to victor. Very true.
Yep.
Let's see.
Also, nothing better than
turkey money. Good energy is in abundance.
Yeah.
There's that. Oh God, Lord, all the Bernie love.
Bernie's
completely oblivious, but I'll relay all the love. Yep. And there's a couple crystal questions, which we will get to those. I am starring questions that are coming in. not all positive. We'll get it that we'll get into that. Look at Liz being the crystal queen. I love it. Sometimes you have to take the dirt road. I've taken the dirt road several times. Having a heart attack and a broken back. Yep. And that's the other thing. You know, when you're walking from the energetic side of this, if you're kind of stuck in that negative, deep, dark, thick tar type energy.
Oh yeah.
You'll get sick. You will physically manifest illness if you don't figure out a way to navigate what you're going through, which is why I think a lot of times Reiki is and other energetic healing modalities are so powerful, because we're basically shifting all the energy, kind of like taking you like a snow globe and like, you know?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
But you know, there are times when, I mean, I know when I had endometriosis, I manifested that myself because I was denying so many different things for myself. I literally, and all the trauma from my first marriage, I just was squelching all that, and it came out as illness. So 2 surgeries and
dis-ease,
you know, a couple organs less later. Exactly. So Liz, I'm going to save all these.
Pop those over there. Well, I'm excited for the full moon tonight.
Me too. You want to talk about that some?
I really love living in like a rural area, because it's like everything is silvery and beautiful, and like you can just really, I don't know, there's the moon feels different. The moon hits different instead of in a big city. Yeah.
The moon here is, I can't wait. The moon here is insane because we're in the mountains. So we saw the comet the other night with the naked eye. We had the Northern Lights last week. Like, magic, no doubt. But the full moon tonight, if we want to, this weekend, it's a dragon. See,
it's cute.
This is a hunter's moon, and some of the good information on this is that it's the first full moon following the harvest moon. I'm reading from Goddess Woman website. Traditionally, this full moon provided hunters with extra light to track game and prepare for the coming winter, giving it the name Hunter's Moon. This moon's energy is deeply connected to survival, preparation, and transformation.
Hey.
Unlike other full moons, this full moon rises just after sunset, creating a bright, prolonged twilight period that lasts several days. This makes it a great moon to observe with the naked eye or through a telescope. The upside to this bad boy is full moons tend to intensify feelings, so heighten emotions. We know that. Increased motivation and letting go of fears. So when I mentioned earlier that I was going to do a burn tonight, I do that a lot. I've been doing that for years. I do a lot of, I guess my work probably falls into a little more shamanic. That's just kind of how I learned. I love fire's my favorite. Great. I had all my candles and shit. I'm like, really like to set things on fire. I don't know if this is a problem, but burn ceremonies on a night on a moon like
in
this,
her carriage house that's made solely of wood.
Of wood, right. Fortunately, there is a fire alarm or fire smoke detector Corey installed the other day just in case.
Hope Corey and Jen are not watching right now.
Right, they might be. I don't know. We'll find out. If I hear something in a minute from out front, we'll know. But a burn ceremony was one of the first things I learned to do with my first mentor. And they're super easy. And maybe we'll do one live one night. Maybe we can try that on a full moon.
Hey, you know what? That might do it live on the page.
Yeah.
I
think I love them because they're usually 2 steps. Sorry, I'm trying to do the comment. We're swirling. My RAS is going, me.
Shrink it a little.
Basically, it's you grab 2 sheets of paper.
2 sheets of paper. Okay.
Yeah. Now my thing and everything's stuck. Sorry.
Ooh.
2 sheets of paper. Sorry, I'm squirreling. I'm having a squirrel moment. Rip them in half, or have 2 separate sheets. However you want to do it.
Okay.
2 sheets of paper. Something to burn those papers in safely. Like I have a cauldron, but then I always have a cup of water beside just in case. And then if you want to work with crystals, pick your crystals. You know, whatever you feel like is good.
Okay.
And what you do on one piece of paper is you write down all the things you're releasing. Okay. All the things you want to get rid of, the negativity, certain situations, anything that you find is no longer serving your energetic highest good. You write that shit down on the release side. Okay.
Hey.
Set that aside. Then you grab your other sheet of paper. Sorry, I'm not in the center of my screen here. On your other sheet of paper, you write down all the things you want to call in.
Okay.
So all the good shit,
Sure.
good, different perspective. If you want to call in different mindset, you want to call in a new job, you want to call in, extra money for a car repair, like whatever it is, doesn't matter what it is.
Okay.
You write that down too, right? So you're releasing the bad shit, and you're basically calling in. I phoned people in high school. I love this. You're basically the calling in is basically intention setting and manifesting, right? So it's a little bit of both.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tend to kind of meditate
You're
over
a
that.
cheeky guy. Sorry.
Oh, I love it. We're going down this now. What jokes can we make in one show? So then you kind of, I read them out loud. Like we used to do this in a women's group, and you'd have to read this stuff to other. There's a lot of power in that. But
yeah,
just read
some
them
people
out loud
might not like
and
that.
burn them one at a time.
Oh, one. So
no,
the negative.
Well, especially if you're doing them
first,
alone.
and then what you call in second. You're burning. Okay.
You burn them both. Yep. And to me, there's something very cathartic about watching that smoke go up to the universe. Obviously.
Actually, you know what? That does. I kind of do like that idea of like all of that.
It's a physical.
Like, right. Yeah. And you see it
like
kind of, yeah, there is something very, what is the word for that? There's
cathartic.
Something cathartic, but also sort of like seeing your intentions be tangible.
Yeah.
Is kind of seeing that smoke, your intentions become the smoke. I don't know. I like that. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And that's really it for a burn ceremony. Now, some people, especially if I saw that, I think Witch Moon's on the shamanic path. I typically will open a circle before I do a burn. I probably should have started with that, but again, train wreck. Here we go.
Sure. Why do we use the cardinal
for protection and a place to call in your guides and any other, if you work with deities, if you work with goddesses, if you work with galactics like I do, or, you've got close connections to members of, family, friends, whatever on the other side. Sure. But basically to call them in, sort of be a witness, but then also for protection. Yeah. I know, buddy, you probably have to go to the bathroom, but it's too late now. But I call in using northeast, southwest, because each element or each direction is an element. So in the east, it's air. In the south, it's fire. In the west, it's water. And the north is earth, I think. And some people use north and west a little bit differently. But anyway, you basically open that up. You just envision calling in those elements, opening those gates, calling in protection, calling in your people, do your burn ceremony, and then you just close all the gates.
Okay. Will you put these these like instructions in the Facebook page?
Yep. So it's a little less squirrely. Yeah.
Because I don't I've never actually I think Jennifer and I did one.
Yep.
At the beginning of the year, Jennifer, you taught Jennifer and I how to do one, and we did that. Getting rid of that which does not serve, emotional, mental. Oh, I love it. Is paramount during my burns. It cleanses me. Teach my clients this. Great.
Well done, Buffy. That's exactly the same.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's a practice that a lot of us are already doing. And it doesn't matter if you're a practitioner of anything. You don't have to be certified. None of that freaking matters. I just feel like it's something I learned, and it's always been very helpful to me. And I always feel like the best way to give back kind of the gifts of what I've learned is to give it to other people. So anybody can do a burn ceremony. Anyway.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
So I think that was that.
Are you going to burn that toy, aren't you?
Oh my God.
All right.
Impatience tonight.
We're going to start a GoFundMe for more squeaky toys for Bean.
He doesn't need any more. Please don't send more squeaky toys. Everything squeaks up here. You want to talk about some of the crystal questions while we're on the moon stuff?
We can. Real quick, does anybody have any questions with regard to manifesting or the reticular activating system, anything like that? Like literally, thoughts are things. And there's a number of different ways that you can manifest a reality that you want to have. Yard has buried candle wax everywhere. Jesus Christ.
Burn a lot of shit sometimes.
It's either candle wax or crystals that he's just North Carolina's just got crystals everywhere. So he's constantly finding them in his yard.
Love it.
But The other thing that I do want to kind of tie into manifestation is we all have the power and the ability to live the life that we want to have.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, is it easy? No. Like she said, she had a back injury and she had, I lost my job. My son lost his job. Like our entire income came crashing down around us. Less than a year after we moved our whole life from Arizona to North Carolina.
Yep.
So it is the hardest thing to do in this world is to live in it. And the lessons that if you believe in reincarnation, like I do, the lessons that our soul chooses to learn while we're down here, they're not meant to be easy.
No.
That doesn't
soul
mean
contract.
that doesn't mean that we can't learn them and make them a little bit more gentle for us, I guess, in that, like, yeah, sometimes stuff hits us like a train. That doesn't mean that we've got to like jump back up and be ready to fight. If we need to take time to rest, either rest our soul, rest our emotions, rest our physical body, do it.
Yep.
Do it. And if things seem super bleak and depressing and sad, absolutely.
Yeah.
Living is hard.
Being human is just generally hard. And like Chris says here, once you accept life is difficult,
the positivity will come. Yes, it will come.
It's a balance between the two. Because again, like
I guess I can see like how to some folks, certainly to me at one point in my life, all of this was a bunch of platitudes that sounded like a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah, exactly. Been there.
But it is, it's the truth that we've all found. Yes, feel it and let it go. Feel it, respect it, honor it, because it's part of the lesson. Just don't unpack and live there. That's not where you're meant to stay. That isn't where you're meant to stay. So,
and this is one of my favorite.
Yes,
we are like being suffering a
human condition. 1,000%. 1,000%.
Yep.
So, it is very hard to do. But you have a group here now. Now that you're watching this, now that you found us, you have a group here now that will always, always help you. There are certainly people that you can go to and talk to about this, be it, a medical therapist, a psychiatrist, anything like that. There are soul counselors like myself. There are just friends. You're in a safe space. You can post anything on our Facebook group and it is a safe space. You have seen how people rally around each other when somebody is in need or somebody has an exciting thing to share about their life. You can do that. And I feel like, I don't want to speak for everybody, but I know that you can certainly reach out privately to me, to Erin, to, any number of these folks and just be like, hey, you said something in the chat the other night that kind of resonated with me. You can reach out to Chris and Audra. Yeah. I'll tell you what, these two, it's all safe in this group. Absolutely. Yep. So,
and that's what we wanted for this space, because I think, we hit on this a lot where a lot of times people, you see Instagram, you see social media, and like this whole path is, sunshines and rainbows. This shit is hard. Being human is hard.
It's very hard.
Learning to try to walk a different path for your own sanity, just to try something different. And when you start, like, I think it was Sandy that said earlier, small changes turn into big shifts down the line. And that's something I always try to explain.
They really do. And then you're more prepared for those big shifts once you do those smaller steps that lead up to the big shifts.
Yeah. Tom, and you have to give yourself grace, I think, is the biggest one that people forget. You have to give yourself time. We will pound that into your heads, guys. Know your energy. Learn how to meditate and give yourself some goddamn grace. You deserve it before anybody else, because nobody knows how hard
life is for you, or the lessons you're having to learn, or that your soul decided it wanted to learn in this reincarnation. So absolutely give yourself some grace. Maybe that's what you do tomorrow. When you wake up, before you get out of bed, before you turn on the light, before you brush your teeth, put your contacts in, whatever the hell, use the bathroom. Yes, that's one of the toughest things to learn, is to stop being hard on yourself. So maybe you're teaching your RAS. We're going to say new things to ourselves in the mornings. That's what we're going to be doing for the next couple of weeks. When we wake up, and just say, I'm giving myself some grace to handle whatever the day is going to throw at me. I'm going to give myself some grace with the way I react to it. Let's start that.
And I think that is the hardest thing, is that grace, because we live in a society where it's go, 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 faster, faster, more, more,
it
more.
Is.
Work,
There's
work,
so
work
much expected of you from everyone that, yeah.
Yep. I know Marie's learned a lot about that. We've walked a bit of that path together over the last
One
year.
of the things you posted on the chat, the group, not the chat, but the Facebook page, Erin, everybody loved, was, what is some positive things when you're going through a hard time? What are some sayings or things that people have, or that you have heard, or that you tell yourself to help yourself get through it? And so a lot of we all posted these things that, we've heard. Like my grandma always said, things we worry about most usually don't happen. And God damn it, she's right. She's right. So definitely change is definitely difficult, but just start every day giving yourself some grace with whatever you're going to encounter, however you're going to react to that, however you're going to handle it, however you're going to deal with it. Give yourself some grace. Let's start there
and be patient with yourself,
because patient.
Like you said earlier, it's like, you get to a point where you're like, light bulb. But just because the light bulb goes off doesn't mean your body or your brain has now caught up with this new idea. It's going, again, to take practice. And I know that was something I really struggled with. It's like, okay, I get this now. Well, why am I not being any different? It's like,
right.
Change takes time. It does. It takes time.
Yeah.
And again, it's not that you're just trying to think differently. You're literally rewiring your autonomic nervous system, which is something we'll get into a whole nother time, because that's a whole conversation in and of itself. But the gist of your autonomic nervous system is the thing that you get up, you brush your teeth the same way every morning. You have the same routine every morning. It's kind of like autopilot.
Yeah.
And when you're starting to make these kinds of changes, you're literally rewiring those systems, like the RAS, the ANS. Like, you have to be patient with yourself, because you are learning new skills, new coping skills, new ways to handle things, new things to learn. And it's very easy to get to the point where, like, it's been a week, it's not working, I quit.
Yeah.
You gotta ride the train for a while, right? Yeah. Like, it's not necessarily the fun train.
Girl, me too. Same girl, same.
Facts. I think we're all that way. I think that is a fact.
Yes. Valerie said, this is resonating a lot. Thank you. That's great. I'm so glad. I'm so glad. And you guys can reach out to us. This is the reality of this. Yeah. Reach out to us at any time. Off air. We're more than happy to, chat with you. Even if you just want somebody to listen for a minute. Yeah. Even if you just want somebody to listen, you can reach out. Been there. Things were hard for us and my family for a long time, and now they're starting to level out. Everything is wonderful and great, and we're happy, and we're enjoying living back here. But that doesn't mean that in another 5-10 years something difficult isn't another thing. That's just how it goes. It is, and
you're hitting a very important thing, I think, as well, because I know for me, I remember last Halloween I was at the farm. And I heard this song and I had to pull over and cry, because it was a moment where I was just like so happy, jumping out of my skin. Like, everything is so good right now. Yeah. And then, of course, 2024 hits and my life implodes.
Yeah.
But the perspective I decided to have on that was like, okay, the universe is shaking this up for a reason. I am grateful that I honored the moment where things were so good, and I didn't look back and say, man, I wish I had taken that moment a little bit longer. I really embraced it for what it was. Like, things are so good right now. Mm-hmm. So when things went to shit, it's like, okay, to your point, I know it's going to get there again. Like, this is all this stuff is happening for a reason. Yeah. And I'm just going to hang on tight. and know that whatever's meant for me in the, what's best for me and this tiny tornado over here is how this is going to turn out, which is exactly what's happened again. So it's just, but I've been doing this shit now 5 years, which isn't that long, but I've learned a lot of shit in 5 years. And the thing
it is a lot. Yeah. A lot will,
it's a lot.
It is a lot, and you're going to constantly come back to it.
You will. But the more you practice it, the more it becomes old hat. So when your life explodes, like my 2024 bingo card is not what I thought. I mean, I lost my job, lost my marriage, shit's hit the fan all over the place. We've had death. But it's all for a reason. And so I've finally gotten to the point where I probably wouldn't have survived, quote unquote, with any sort of sanity this year. But because I've done as much work as I've done and really focused on that as a necessary thing in my life, I'm just kind of like, okay, this is where we are now. It's hard right now, but it won't always be that way. It's hard for a reason. We have the right people in place. We have the right, coping skills in place, the support system. It will all be fine again soon, and I think that's half the battle.
It's true. Yeah, it's true. The other part of it too is when we first moved to North Carolina, neither one of us were happy. We fought through it, and it was all intent and focus on that. It's very difficult to pack up your life as you know it and move it to a state you've never lived in, maybe rarely visited. We're fortunate because we have family here in Raleigh that we're very close to.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, even though they're just down the street and, everybody has their own lives, right? So we kind of are just here on our own, and then, like getting into a routine and new things and questioning, did we do the right thing? So I get it. Cause we didn't move here much longer after Chris and Audra. Cause I actually met them in Arizona. We all lived in Arizona.
Right.
Together. And now we're like, we love it here. And so now we're like, Tony, Cherie, come, one of us, move to the East Coast, one of us. So, but yeah, it can be difficult, especially if, you are doing it on your own,
100%.
My family and Chris and Audra have each other, and her family's not that far away in Ohio. So they have, which is important. Having Carrie and his friend Nancy helped. That was the other thing too that was really nice. It was like when we got here, I was like, I already have friends here, yay!
Right,
and that's we hit the ground running with the investigations the second I got here.
That's how. I mean, when I was saying to Corey and Jen today, I was like, I said this somewhat sarcastically. I'm like, I wouldn't have survived a week up here in Maine because I'm from the South. I mean, I'm originally from Georgia, but I meant it literally too, because it's like, number one, I mean, there's critters out here we don't have to worry about in the South, but the support that I've got and most of my people are now just like 4 or 5 hours away as opposed to 20 plus hours away. Like I was able to fall into an amazing situation that I know I'm very lucky to be in. And did I manifest that accidentally? Probably.
Yeah.
But I think
so.
I'm also make such a concerted effort about the energy that I'm putting out. And I've tried really hard to help as many people as I can through all of this, that I feel like I'm getting that energy back.
Yeah.
Like my mom was saying, like it comes back to you. And I feel like I just had to, again, you just have to trust the universe. But you do.
And you need to find a way to kind of your own way of communicating with the universe. Yes, the world is going through a tough time.
Yep.
So that makes it difficult as well. Yes. It doesn't last forever. But have your own relationship with the universe.
Yep.
Just sit in it, put the energy out, maybe do a burn ceremony. Like you don't need to tell anybody what you write on your pieces of paper.
Nope, you don't.
Maybe, maybe you're,
again, no right or wrong way to do. However you do those things. Do we want to talk about crystals real quick before my brain squirrels again?
We actually do. We've got a lot of, and I'm glad about this too. Did we want to do, we're going to do a more in-depth show on crystals, guys. But Zach was talking to me about when we were talking about manifestation, crystal grids are another way that you can kind of manifest the things that you want. Crystal energy is something that obviously Erin and I use in our daily lives. I'm surrounded by them constantly. All of our skincare products are infused with crystal energy. So like the oils or the crystals that can be put into water, liquids without being destroyed, things like the ites, selenite, labradorite, pyrite. None of those.
Anything with an ite at the end, forget it.
Don't put it in water.
They will disintegrate.
Yeah, so like I'll put like amethyst in the oils that I'm using when I'm making, and that energy is just going into the oils and then it's infusing into the products.
Yep.
So let's touch on the crystals and how crystals can help you manifest in that regard. And then probably, God, we got a lot of stuff we want to talk about in the coming episodes.
Because we did it with Satori, but we were talking about different.
Yeah, we were talking about, we did the crystals with Satori, but let's get into.
Go over some of the questions in here.
Let's get into some of the questions and then like crystal grids and stuff. Cause I think Satori said earlier I'm not sure if she's still here, something
Satori
about crystal grids was like over her.
Crystal grids.
Yeah. I don't really either. But it sounds amazing.
They're interesting. But again, it's like a lot of things. If it doesn't resonate for you, it's okay too. Like I know a lot of girls that work with grids and they, are really get a lot out of them. It's just not my thing. Kind of like tarot. I'm fascinated by it. I'd love somebody to read for me, but it's just not something that resonates for me.
Same thing. I'm the same way.
There's a lot of power in grids.
Love Reiki. It's just not something that resonates for me.
It's not your thing
to do.
Exactly. Yeah. So Sandy asked about, can all stones go out in the moonlight? Yes. Tonight's an excellent night to clear your crystals. There are several ways to clear your crystals of energy. One is using a full moon that also charges them.
Yep.
You can put them in water, not the ites, and you can always, if you're not sure, just Google whatever your stone is, see if it's safe for water.
Yeah.
Typically the less hard on the Mohs scale, the less well they do in water.
Water. Yeah. Things like soft ones like selenite, pyrite.
Yeah. Pyrite, things like that. Yeah. You can use sound frequency to clear your crystals. You can use singing bowls to clear your crystals. You can use fire to clear your crystals. There's 1,000,001 ways to clear your crystals. But on a night like tonight, extra power, since it's, basically like
big super moon.
Big super moon. Just put them all on a plate, put them outside, bring them back in the morning. I make moon water. I haven't done it since I've been here. I'll do it tonight probably,
I think I'll make some moon water too.
Yeah. And you can infuse that with intentions. You can drink it the next day. You can put it in your coffee. You can do all kinds of stuff with moon water. So, but again, that's just grab water, shove it in a glass jar or cup, whatever, and just stick it outside overnight and let it take that energy in, just like you would do with your crystals. A lot of us will use moon water and spell work too. And so Liz had mentioned full moon cleanse on your Liz knows a lot about crystals.
Yeah.
She did mention about water being damaging. So that. And then she confirms, not positive, but all crystals are happy in the moonlight. She is right on selenite. Selenite is the only stone that I'm aware of that does not require cleansing. You don't have to do anything to it.
The only thing I've ever heard about selenite is you could just amplify its protection if you want to put like a black tourmaline with it, but I've never heard of needing to charge or cleanse selenite. The one thing I do know is that I like to wear selenite bracelets like all the time with a black tourmaline, and when they start turning yellow, back into the earth.
Time to go.
Let's
take it because I always look at the crystals like they take it the energy for you.
Drop my giant selenite wand.
Nice.
I keep this here largely because I do a lot of when Laura and I are doing the podcast, we do a lot of like deep dives into really negative, creepy, terrible stuff when we're doing the history research of some of these like asylums and prisons and stuff like that. So I don't want to pick up any kind of gook. So I keep this right by my computer.
It's the dustbuster.
It is a dustbuster. I love it. It's so
mine's
great.
in this bookcase back here. I have a shelf with all my crystals, and funny enough, you'll appreciate this. I think I told you this story already. Let me grab this thing. So Corey was unlucky enough to grab my box of crystals when we were packing.
Ooh, yikes.
Unpacking. And so the next morning he knocks on my door and he hands me this. He's like, I told you we have them here. You didn't need to bring your own.
Oh my God.
Giant clear quartz.
Wow.
From the yard.
That's cool. I like that.
Yeah.
I like crystals. I mean, we talked about this when Satori was on the show, but I like the raw crystals, which is why
me too. It's always
I
my
use
preferred.
them in my products. I have a ton, guys, of crystals that I have to put out in front of this super moon because we've got holiday line that we're making. So we got a bunch of. I have a ton of crystals that are going out out in the yard tonight.
Right? What else we got on crystals? Does anybody have any questions on crystals? Anything
the crud that seems in? Yeah, that seeps into me from work. Yeah, selenite's really good for that. We've got. What are some things that people like tend to want my boss up and ask why I have so many rocks on the roof of my car? I don't know, because you can't fit any more in your pockets. I mean, this dude is just
emptying out
crystals. Zach crystal grids are literally like almost the diameter of like the room he's in. They're huge. Zach's get real freaking big.
Nice.
But also I could feel the energy coming off of just the photographs of them that he sends me. I'm like, geez, wow, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Yes. Naturally grounded for me are the best. I love them.
I learned this recently too. Tourmaline's mined in Maine. I drove by a place that mines them recently, and I'm like, gotta go.
Yeah, I love agates so much. Yeah, agates are really good. Really, really good. We've got one of our fall line has raw moss agate. Our butters, our scrubs.
That's Satori's
bath bomb. Moss agate. Yeah.
Moss agate.
Yeah, we've got I think it's quite a pair line has moss agate, raw moss agate on it. I just love them. I think they're so pretty. Best for bedside and peaceful sleep. I have always found calm and clarity and relaxation from amethyst.
I was gonna say amethyst.
It's my birthstone. It's something that I'm just always drawn to because it is my birthstone. So I have amethyst literally everywhere. I've got amethyst jewelry. I keep my large amethyst on my nightstand. There's just something, I don't know. There's something about amethyst that I'm really drawn to. What's another good one? You know, another one that I think is really
rose quartz. Rose quartz is a good one. Heart stones
Blue
in general.
Lace agate is another good one I love. That's gonna come.
Which one?
Blue lace agate is a beautiful.
Blue lace agate. Yeah,
it's so beautiful. We're putting that in the holiday line too.
Which moon? I just put the link underneath, just so you know that's right there. That's the website.
Yeah, there we go. This little line of mine skincare. Thanks for checking us out. I rub a selenite crystal on my forehead at bedtime. Really? That sounds brilliant, actually. I have a lot of selenite wands.
Here's another
little tiny ones and this big one that I could probably knock somebody out with. But that sounds like a good idea to just kind of clear any sort of like gook that you encounter during the day. And maybe some negativity from people. Maybe you had a really shitty customer. Maybe, you know, whatever.
I call that getting sideswiped.
Yes, getting mentally, energetically sideswiped. Yes. Always collecting that. Rose quartz is great for so much. My friends laugh that they get everything anywhere with you. I'm coming with a pocket full of rocks. I'm telling you. And you know what?
It's so true. Oh, here we go. Zach's got some more.
Oh God, yeah, really?
Options for sleep.
Chrysocolla.
I knew about Chrysocolla.
Shatakite? Yeah. Is that how you say that? Shatakite?
Shatakite, yeah. Probably want one you can get wet. It's a night.
Yeah, it's a night. You know, there are crystals that I swear by in like my work and stuff. So I have tiger eye. I have these bracelets. I wear them all the time. All the time.
That's what I usually wear too, bracelets.
I love them. In fact, my mom is starting to make them, and I was like, ooh, yes. But ones that like you want to manifest success or abundance, prosperity, malachite,
green. Yep.
Oh God, I love it.
Green is your abundance.
Yes, green is your abundance. If that's something that you want, that you're wanting to. Tom's plants love selenite. That's cool. Never thought about like plants and so crystals.
Tom has so many plants.
Oh, he does.
He's the plant whisperer.
So right, he does. It's so beautiful when he posts pictures of his out. Yeah,
I know. Gorgeous. Like, dude, look at that.
So what else? Right. Clear quartz. I really love a good clear quartz as well.
They amplify. Clear quartz is an amplifier of everything else. I love it.
It's the best. I have so many necklaces and bracelets.
Oh,
dear Lord.
Funny enough, Witch Moon, Andrea, the first crystal Andrea ever gave me was a Caribbean green calcite. And I love the energy in that.
Caribbean blue calcite.
Yeah. Here, I'll go get
that
it.
one.
Just disappear for a minute.
Zach, what was the one that we found that it was a palm stone? I can't remember. And it was so beautiful. It kind of looked like labradorite, but it wasn't. Pop that in there if you remember. Zach, pop that in there.
Sorry.
If you remember, because
I just got up and walked away. But I keep this by my bed. That's a Caribbean calcite as well.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Here are some that I like. I love this aura tower that I've got. It's just the iridescence of it is just so beautiful.
That's pretty.
But I love that. I also love to see the little imperfections inside it. And the light is kind of
you can kind of see it a little bit. Yeah.
I don't know. Crystals make me happy. I will spend most of my time. Where did we go? We went to DC a year and a half ago, and we went to the Smithsonian. And I literally spent most of my time in the gem area.
I would too.
Just like taking in every single piece they had there. Meanwhile, Koi and my mom are like, look at the Egyptian, look at this. I'm like, okay, yeah, sounds great. I'm gonna be over here with the sparkly.
See you in a couple hours.
Yeah.
Well, and you talked about clear quartz.
Yeah.
When you're actively manifesting, hold on to a clear quartz while you're doing it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Amplify.
And here's the thing. I think that a lot of folks that might be new to this metaphysical world, like and to manifesting, there may be some folks that feel like it's no, it wasn't astrophyllite. Tree agate. I love black tourmaline. It's such a good one.
One of my favorites.
Oh, Paul Fevers. Oh, really? That's cool.
Did not know that.
That is good to know. That manifesting might be considered something along the lines of greed or personal gain or anything like that. It's not. It's not. If you're trying to do it like I want my best friend's husband and I'm going to manifest that's a problem. And you're likely it's not going to go
the way. It's not going to go well.
No, it's not going to go well. But if you're doing it from a place of, yes, Buffy, those two are really good. I love
amazonite.
I do. Another one I really love is blue apatite. I really like it.
I have that too. Yeah, blue apatite. I have one just like that, and I have an amazonite somewhere. I don't know where it is.
So it's not necessarily a selfish thing. I don't want folks to think that like manifesting and using these crystals to kind of help you with that intention, that those are impure intentions. If you want to manifest a life where let's say Tom for example, good with plants. If you want to have abundance and like be able to care for, you can manifest that. That's, if you want to manifest a life where you just are surrounded by plants and you take good care of them, I will kill a fake plant. So
me too.
I can't have that.
I don't have a plant.
I'm probably never going to go to Tom's because I don't want to kill all of us. I walk in and just be like, look how pretty you are. And they'll just, I don't know what it is about me, but I will kill a fake plant.
I'm the same way.
But yeah, if your intentions are good and you still are, you're wanting to manifest a life that allows you to, I did not do well with Moldavite. Really? Okay. That's good to know.
I have a Moldavite story and we'll tell that another day. Yeah. I can relate, Witch Moon. I'm okay with it now, but it took me 6 months to get there.
Yeah. No, it wasn't the Udilite. It was those palm stones that we found. I can't remember. I think did you find them on Amazon or was it was online somewhere? So yes, these crystals, anything like that will just enhance your energy. And again, remember the energy that you're putting out as far as from a metaphysical aspect, the energy that you're putting out in anything, thoughts or things, we will say it forever on this show. You're telling basically the universe's RAS system energetically what's important to you. You're telling it, hey, this is what's important to me. So make sure that you're giving that back to me and you're helping me notice it and things like that. So try to manifest calm, clarity.
Yeah.
Just, find these crystals. Reach out to folks if you have questions about specific crystals. It looks like we have
a lot of people who know
a lot of folks that are very,
great.
very educated on crystals, which is great. Satori is constantly on our page reading everything. She's a really good one. Another good source if you have questions with regards to crystals. Satori, obviously, her and her mom have they're handmade by Haas, and Satori picks the crystals. So she's another good source. It looks like Buffy, Witch Moon, Liz, of course, Zach, God, so
Chris,
many.
Everybody,
amazing
just about everybody.
Just about everybody, yeah. Ooh. Mary Beth says she knows a great place that sells crystals.
Put it in the Facebook group, Mary Beth, so we can look it up.
Yeah.
Stones from Rivers are very powerful. I like that too. Yep. Yeah. Flow. And a lot of this is about flow, finding your flow.
Finding your flow, your energy.
Stop being a salmon in your own life. Flip on your back and float is what Anne would say.
Yep. That's what Anne says all the time. Which, by the way,
I'm going to throw up.
She's a dear friend of mine, Andrea, but I can't call her Annie. And Erin, you know this. Like when she called the very first time I talked, she's like, "Oh, honey, call me Annie," and I was like, "No, I can't do that." It's been years now, and I still calling her Annie feels weird. I don't know.
Yeah, and Andrea. Andrea, she's got all kinds of nicknames.
Yeah,
she's doing very well, by the way.
Good.
Chemo wise, so she's that and again, she is a prime example of manifesting.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Because she's decided to go into this with a not great diagnosis, stage 4 cancer, metastatic breast cancer. And she's just like, fuck it. Give me everything you got. Hit me with everything you got. I'm going to use this as an opportunity to help other people. And that bitch is still out there doing yard work. And having fun. She's got a friend in town this week from Michigan. Like she has chosen to not be fearful of this diagnosis, to not be fearful of the medication. And as so far had almost zero side effects
from it, which is really, really good.
Because her energy is lined up to receive because she's not coming from a place of fear. We've discussed this at length. We should have her on to discuss that one day, actually.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think, again, to tie up sort of, because I know we're already at 9:30. So
are we?
I think she's another prime example of manifesting your reality because she has chosen to take a path of positivity here and it's manifesting in good ways. They're happy with the way things are starting to shrink She's still feeling great. She's not lost any hair.
I will.
She's in a good space. So she's another good example of that.
She is. Yeah. Yeah. She's wonderful.
And I always say it's her fault I'm here. It's her fault, is what I always jokingly say. All of this is Andrea's fault. And I say that in the best way possible.
Here's the thing, though, like you were saying, this whole thing, like the universe, if you're in a rut and you're not willing to get out of your rut, the universe is going to force you out of your rut. So you met Andrea and she was just like, hey, come on, we're going to go on this adventure, and shoved you into the deep end of the pool. And then through there, you met me and Cody and Satori and Corey and Jen, and you're like, and Ken and Don, and you're like, I'm not going to investigate. And I'm like, the fuck you're not. And so now here you are.
Not going to be able to avoid it now.
You are going to be investigating, yes, I would say, before the end of the year. I
agree. And
I'm manifesting that for you.
I'm stoked about it because I'm around the right people to learn from. Yeah, right?
That's very important.
That's the most important thing to me.
That is very important, because if you're teaching yourself, I think that's great. But kind of try to find folks that have been doing it, and maybe you can get some good feedback, some good advice. Maybe there's a ton of people doing paranormal 101 classes, which Zach and I are actually talking about doing as well.
I love it.
But teach yourself for sure, but be coachable, be teachable.
Yeah. Always.
Absolutely. Be teachable. Go to the Montgomery House. Chris and Audra, the Montgomery House is a perfect place to learn how to be a paranormal investigator. If you're not sure what that is, where it is at, reach out to me, reach out to Chris, reach out to Audra. We will certainly get you there. But that's the other part of life is be coachable, be teachable.
Yeah.
Nobody knows everything.
I had a big conversation with Michelle talking about being coachable and teachable. I had a conversation with Michelle Roos yesterday, who, as we know, is very well educated on her part of the field. And she had an experience over the weekend with a woman that she met, and she's like, I love that I was able to take the information. It was something she wasn't aware of. And we had this discussion yesterday about always being in a position of learning. If you get to the point where you feel like you know everything, it's time to find something new.
Time to find something new. Absolutely. Yep. It just won't be challenging for you anymore. Wait for a friend. What do you do? See, I love to hear that. I really do love to hear that.
You're nice, Chris. I'll be back down in the South, I'm sure. My parents are still there. Andrew is still there. I've got my sisters are down there. I'll be back in the South. I'll just have to get up to you guys. Down to you guys. I keep forgetting the up. When you go from Florida to Maine, the up down thing has been a kind of a thing.
Gotcha.
Right,
what is this
guy's? I don't know who this guy is. He's going. Goodbye. His first comment. I don't know how many people saw that.
I don't even know who the hell that was. I was like, who is this guy?
I don't either. Okay.
So manifesting.
Tie up. I want to show my funny meme.
You need to show your funny meme. We have homework for everybody, and then we also have a tiny announcement.
Okay, perfect. Are we doing fact or fiction, or are we skipping that this week?
We're skipping that this week because I forgot about it.
It's been a crazy week.
Right fucking now.
Girl, it's been a crazy week. Totally.
People, he is full of shit. It is true. Okay.
Yeah, I just got rid of him. Whatever.
Good.
Okay. So we always do a funny meme pertaining to our manifesting.
Oh, I got to get our subject affirmations out too.
Manifesting a 3-bedroom, 3-bathroom apartment for $7 a month. I figured everyone can relate to that.
Listen,
because you can manifest anything.
You can.
Which is why I picked that one, because it's funny and it's true.
It's funny and it's true. I mean, you're probably not going to love the location the apartment is in. And you might, it might be careful what you wish for. Like Erin said on the post.
Might get it.
Careful what you wish for. You just might get it. So we needed a really affordable place when we were the last year in Phoenix, and we got it. But it was super affordable, and I work from home, so it didn't really matter where in Phoenix it was, but it actually was a former meth den.
Mm-hmm.
And it was known that way in the neighborhood. So for the first like 3 weeks that we were living there, people were trying to break in the house because they thought it was still a meth house.
You're like, no, not
Oh
anymore.
my God. My dog Chewy was like literally losing his mind, like in the middle of the night. It was terrifying.
Oh, I bet.
But be careful what you wish for. Just be specific in what you want to manifest. So,
fact.
All right. I'm going to pick a card here. How does Cody say it? Cod?
Cod.
I'm going to pick a cod. This is our manifestation for the next 2 weeks, guys.
Love it.
Yeah. This is our affirmation, our manifestation. It's going to be that one right there. What does it say? It's kind of, Chris wrote this one. Positive vibes only, fuck negativity.
Pretty simple.
Pretty simple from our friend Chris Allgood. That is the manifestation. I will pop that into the Facebook page. Positive vibes only, fuck negativity. That's very, very important. So that is our manifestation. Our tiny announcement, Erin, I don't know. I almost forgot when I was thinking like when we come back in 2 weeks, we won't be back in 2 weeks.
It's Halloween.
It's Halloween. So we will not have an episode in 2 weeks. But I don't know, Erin, were we talking about maybe doing a recording of something or?
I think, we can talk about that for sure. We'll talk to Ken too and see what his thoughts are on that.
Yeah.
He's got grandkids and you're going to have neighborhood people. And
we've got neighborhood. Yeah. Our neighborhood.
I don't know what we're going to be doing. Kids. But considering there's a 12-foot Jack Skellington in the front yard and a 7-foot tall plague doctor in Corey's man cave.
Oh my God. 12-foot skeletons are a big deal. They're everywhere.
Yeah. Everywhere. He's got one out front. I love him.
Yeah. I've got orders. I almost knocked over. I've got all these orders to fill, which is great. Nice. But I almost just dropped them all on the floor looking for my sweary bag of affirmations. So I need this office. Jesus H. No live episode in 2 weeks, guys, because it is Halloween. Trick or treat.
Yep.
But are you going to do a burn ceremony on the Facebook page? Are you going to do that live? Did you?
No. Oh, tonight? No, I'm just going to do it here. Okay. But I would love to do one.
We should do one.
So if the next time an episode falls on or near a full, I mean, we don't need a full moon. You can do. I do them all the time, but
yeah.
We'll pick a week to do one, and we'll let everybody know ahead of time, and I'll put a list of what you need and all that in the Facebook group anyway.
Yeah, that's gonna be cool. Yes, Witch Moon. This group does have a Facebook page. It is basically. Well, that was weird.
I'll put the link in the chat.
It's a public group. You can find us. You're gonna pop it in the chat.
Yeah, I'm pulling it up right now. My internet's a little slow. It's like you're doing too many things. Oh, come on. It's the love of Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. Maybe not. I'm trying to get here. We're making progress.
Are we? Are you sure?
Copy link. Here we go. All right. Coming in hot with I think so. All right, here we go.
She's the only one that has the admin, right? So I'm just sitting here like, this is nice. There we go.
All right. That comment is the link to the Facebook page.
Yes. So we'll see. Maybe we'll record something real quick for the Halloween, but everybody's probably got stuff going on, So
right. Yeah. Yeah. But next week, Cody and Satori will be back on Thursday. Don't forget to catch those two goofballs that we adore so much next Thursday.
It's a fun show, guys. If you haven't watched it yet,
it is a fun show.
It's a lot of fun. It's very interactive. Great. It's really cool. Yeah. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, and then we've got
yes.
Dead Air on Sunday nights.
This Sunday.
8:00.
Mm-hmm.
And Ken does his Extremely Strange.
Guys, if you have not watched Extremely Strange yet, you need to. He's been covering a lot of really cool stuff. Demon House, The Big Box. A lot of fun stuff. So go check it out. It's a really fun, unique take on all of our tried and true favorite paranormal stuff.
And it's all
about it. Just go back and watch this after.
It's under all the dead air. It's under the dead air umbrella. So make sure you go and like, subscribe, and all that stuff you're supposed to do on YouTube that I always forget to mention at the beginning of the show. So
Mothman, yep. Oh,
it was
I
great to
forgot
have
Joseph
everybody
loves Mothman.
here. I always forget about that.
Yay.
But yeah, other questions, you guys hit us up on the Facebook page, and we'll see you back in a couple of weeks. But we'll be in the Facebook chat if anybody, or Facebook group if anybody needs us. And
otherwise, I think that is it. And then we will be back in, oh my God, a month? No.
Believe it.
No.
About a month. Yeah.
Hold on. My calendar's not pulling up. What's the problem?
We'll put out
the Teddy Bears. We will be back on November 14th. Yeah, shit.
Yeah, almost a month.
All right. November 14th.
We'll miss you in the meantime.
We will miss you, but yeah, I mean, you'll just find us in, we'll be probably doing goofy shit and polls. I love a good poll. So polls in the Facebook group page and all of that.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
I support it.
Anyway, good night, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I know that we kind of threw a lot of information at you kind of quick and we were swirling all over the place. That's just how we roll. Yes.
Just how it goes.
Happy Halloween. Blessed Samhain, everybody. And yeah, I guess we'll see you. I'm
see you
gonna
soon.
pop this into the thing. Remember, positive vibes only, fuck negativity. That is our manifestation and our affirmation for the next month. And we will see you back in a month.
Yeah. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys. We love you.